A cross-section, mostly sort of cross-ish sections of what? Seminiferous tubules. And I don't know why this thing is just not holding its focus. It's just getting senile.
You wouldn't have us go between primary and secondary spermatocyte, right?
I might, if I had them in context. So, for example...
Oh, angry enough.
Sorry. Well, I mean, you don't usually see them together, so these are all primaries, a lot of them, right? The primary spermatocytes are those big cells, which are, like filled with chromosomes, very obvious, the largest ones. And these are mature sperm.
Can you differentiate between secondary and spermatids?
Spermatids are pretty clear also.
Are these it?
Where are those polar
No,
bodies?
there aren't any spermatids there. They're all maybe just residual bodies because they've all hatched.
Right.
Where are the residual bodies?
These are spermatids, though.
Wait, Dr. Brent, where are the residual bodies?
Here, that's sort of these things. They have no DNA left and they're no nuclei. It's sort of like the eggs that the sperm have hatched out of.
Where's that Sertoli cell?
I'll get
Sertoli cell nuclei.
Wait, what's a Sertoli cell? I'm kidding.
There's a Sertoli cell right there.
Oh, look at this mitotic figure. Look at that cute little going into telophase right there.
Ooh, wait, what is that?
It's a mitotic figure.
Mitotic figure.
Okay, anaphase or something.
Is
anyway, so here you have these spermatogonia that are very heavily stained on the outside, and then you have these Sertoli cell nuclei are well defined, but kind of tend to be lightly stained and irregularly shaped. Like here's a Sertoli cell nucleus.
There's actually one further down.
Yeah, here's a Sertoli cell nucleus, I think.
On the side, in the corner.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So again, if I find one that's pretty
static.
It's like the Leydig? Is that like the top of the left corner?
Leydig?
What's that? Leydig cells.
On the
That should
outside.
be. You shouldn't miss that.
It's unreal.
These are all Leydig cells in between the seminiferous
The
tubules.
interstices?
In the interstices, yes,
That would be
interstitial
really
cells.
ridiculous. It was like, what year was this cell discovered?
Don't give them ideas.
Those should be pretty clear.
Can you show us secondary?
Secondaries.
In context of primary, of course.
Well, that's where it's hard to do.
No, those are spermatids, right?
These look more like spermatids.
They're a lot smaller.
I usually let me just tell you, I won't ask you about secondary spermatocytes.
Alright.
Those are hard to find.
Well, they're easy to find.
I mean, they're hard to
You
differentiate.
might not be good at science, but
What's in the center of that seminiferous
I could tell.
What's the what?
What's right in the middle of that tubule?
Where? Here?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just sort of looks like just a blob of residual something. It's nothing that's taking on a stain.
Obviously an ovum.
It's a blue.
It's
Yeah. Fertilization takes place in the seminiferous tubule.
the sperm pushes towards the middle.
Can I just see why this cell?
Well, that's an interesting question. It doesn't really push anywhere. It grows toward the middle. It's moved toward the middle as it's attached to a Sertoli cell. And there are actually, they don't show up really well, but some of these cells, elongated cells, are myoepithelial cells. So there is actually some contractility to move the lumen to wash that out toward the epididymis.
For sure.
There is a net movement of fluid so that the sperm, as they mature and detach from the Sertoli cell, they're washed out toward the epididymis. They can't use their flagella yet. That doesn't happen until they're in the epididymis.
What role does ryanodine play in all this?
So anyway.
What role does ryanodine play?
What's that? So anyway, in terms of, again, hormones that they make, and hormones, these make testosterone, for example, and they respond to LH. Sertoli cells respond to testosterone, and they make inhibin. You should know what you knew for the...
Should we know if those receptors are nuclear for testosterone, or like where the intracellular, like the difference between the intracellular kinds of receptors that...
Oh, well, you know that.
Well, I mean, of course we know that. I'm just saying, do we need to know that for the practical?
Probably not as a kind of giveaway.
Sure.
No, the only one that's different is the sperm.
For sure,
because
acrosome.
that has the surface receptors for progesterone.
for sure.
This is an interesting, I'm focusing on this because I've never quite seen one like that before. It's an interesting cell.
It's a super sperm.
Super sperm, I don't know what it is.
Can't see it.
It's primary? It's primary?
I don't know. I don't know. It could be, looks like a primary, but maybe it's at a particular stage of mitosis, so it's not obvious. Here's a Sertoli cell nucleus close to the
Ah.
right?
It's a lighter cytoplasm,
How do you
right?
differentiate?
The lighter cytoplasm, right?
It's a very well defined, not heavily stained, and it kind of looks like a small cell.
It just does. It just kind of screams Sertoli at you, if you will.
Yes, that's what it
That
does.
must be.
It looks Italian. Sertoli was Italian.
Of course.
All right. Anyway,